This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning. What a beautiful morning it is. One that has started with light showers, and hopefully they'll stay light and not inconvenience as it was yesterday, because yesterday was quite the story that saw a number of places flood in Uganda or in Kampala and areas surrounding Kampala. But that being said, good morning to you. It's a Thursday, the 19th day of March 2026. And if you ask me, Thursday is my best day of the week. Why? Because it announces the weekend. And that's why I always love Thursday, because it's a reminder that rest is coming. But anyways, passengers in Uganda, particularly in Kampala, could soon enjoy safer and cleaner public transport after the government announced a sweeping crackdown targeting old and poorly maintained taxis blamed for endangering commuters. Now, under a 20-day directive issued yesterday by the Works State Minister Fred Byamukama, authorities will begin removing unroadworthy taxis from the streets starting April 8th, which is next month, just a few days away. And the move aims to protect passengers and reduce the rising number of road accidents linked to unsafe vehicles. Now, from the start of, I think shortly after elections, about 2 weeks after elections, it looks like a whole cleanup is taking shape in Uganda. Well, my name is Julie F. Nantaba, welcoming you to the show this Thursday morning. And it's a whole beautiful team that works hard to make sure that we start the morning with you, an honor and privilege we don't take for granted. Away from behind the scenes, I am with Robert Chirabo Nyintono and Joan Murunji. Joan, good morning.
Good morning, Julie, and a very good morning to you, our viewers. We hope you are sipping on your Ugandan coffee, because it is in our nature, but make sure you are warm, because we're still having drizzles, as Julie said. To our brothers at the Muslim community, we've been reliably informed that Eid will be celebrated tomorrow, and that is Eid I hope I'm mentioning it the right way, since we have no Muslim here on set. Eid El Fitr. Oh, Shafiq must be laughing here. I was like, no, can't you show? But anyways, yes, the crescent moon was not spotted yesterday, so most likely we are having Eid celebrations
Which is a good
tomorrow.
one, I think.
It is.
It starts the weekend with no work for most. Of course, for us it will be work, but for most, no work into Saturday, into Sunday. Just an extra day of no work,
yeah,
for those
and please,
who are able to.
Make sure you do not use some languages we are not understanding. Please, our Muslim brothers, things of using Arabic. When you know Jojo does not understand Arabic, just tell me the venue and the time. Because, you know, Easter is around the corner. We shall also decide to use Latin or Greek, and you'll be left out. Anyway, that is on a lighter note. But I hope you enjoyed the music from the Throwback Thursday, as we take you back a memory lane to remember, to reminisce on how the old golden days were. But in Kampala, Uganda, the CBD specifically. Now, last week there was an evening downpour, and it was on Friday, and we saw a number of shops being submerged in water and a lot of roads that were flooded. And there was transport disruption, as always, whenever there are floods in Kampala, and a lot of traffic congestion. Yesterday, the same thing happened. And today, you know, whenever it rains at night or in the early morning hours, traders are always worried. What am I going to expect? What they're expecting at their shops. And when it rains during day, they're always putting up the merchandise away from their shops. And one would question, why don't these traders shift and access other shops? Mind you, it's not easy here in Kampala to shift one shop from another because one, your clientele knows where you are located. And for most landlords, they ask for 4 to 6 months, others are yeah. So it's a bit abroad when it comes to floods, but I think the Kampala Capital City Authority traders are demanding for answers. How long is it going to be? Kwaliso Tower, Kwaliso Building, Nabukera, and the water that comes from Upper Sheraton, it's really absurd. But regardless, we are here to take you through the morning. Good morning.
Definitely. So thank you very much, John, for that preamble. But we definitely need to hear from the only man on set, Robert Chirabonyonyitana. Good morning.
A lovely morning to you, Judy. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I am very fine. And for her, I won't ask. I know she's fine. But our viewer, how are you? Good morning to you.
To make people think I talk to you every morning.
Fine. Of course.
How do you know that I'm fine?
Because we talked already.
Oh.
Now,
You win.
very interesting but sad story that I have this morning.
Okay.
We first witnessed this in 2001 when Miss Nis Bitarabeho, the widow then to Bob Kasango, if you remember that prominent lawyer who died in Ruzera prison, developed a heart complication, then he died. Now the widow went to court, if you remember, and that was on 15th March, and sued her mother-in-law, one Rosie Kabise, accusing her of blocking the burial of her husband in a place of her choice. Now, if you remember, then the media was awash. We were like, how someone has died? You know, why would you keep someone longer than he should because you've developed disagreements on where this person should be buried? And moreover, between the mother-in-law and the wife to this person. Now, yesterday, we saw the widow to Masaka Tycoon, that is Bosco Senyonjo, also known as Vitanda, going to court in Masaka, accusing her mother-in-law still of blocking the burial of her late husband and the 2 children. If you remember, the husband perished on Entebbe Express Highway with his 2 children. Now,
and one is in the hospital,
yes,
the other child.
Now, the wife says the husband had told her that he would be buried at a certain place where they are constructing a house. The mother says, no, my son told me actually that you once even wanted to poison him, so you weren't in good terms. But above all, my son is the heir to the father, and is also a father of twins. Now, in Uganda, I'm told, a father of twins, known as Salongo, is not buried alone, Tatandika Chikache. So, because of that, Chijache,
okay.
So he has to be buried. And remember, he's a heir to the father. So, Judge Victoria Nachintu decided that these 2 should sit, and she gave them more space, said the body of the deceased and the 2 children should be kept in Masaka Hospital mortuary, giving them some time to see if they can resolve this. Now the mother-in-law goes on to say, let me take my son, you can take your children and bury them.
Oh my God.
But if you are aware they are children of my son, please have them buried at our ancestral burial grounds. Now, what is also funny is the twins are not from this mother who lost their 2 children. He had gotten another wife with whom they fathered twins. And she was also in court. So the 2 women were in court.
So what was the Nalongo saying?
The Nalongo was saying...
Was he on the side of the mother-in-law?
Definitely.
But then I looked at that story, and the best friend to the deceased said the deceased always told his best friend that he should be buried at the new location where they are constructing a house.
I think now that's to witness.
And even the Bible says,
even one of her
once you
friends
grow
said,
up, you will leave your family and find a wife.
But that only applies if what faith were they?
They were Christians, but I don't know that.
Were they officially married?
No, because even in court, the second wife was bringing up something and saying but she's not even
wedded in church.
wedded in church. And the judge,
Please don't
that is
start.
that is not an issue to discuss here.
Right. Anyways, that's a touching story at that. But if we are to look, I'll just use the example of seeing as there as I think of a Christian faith. The Bible says that therefore a man shall leave his father and mother. A man shall leave his mother and father and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So whatever the decision they made as wife and husband, it applies to them.
But
Every
now if
other
I already
member-
left you and I got a second,
that's why
You did
I'm
not
asking.
officiate that. You did not
That's why I'm
officiate
Even
asking
further,
if they were officially married. Because
they weren't
would be-
officially married,
But-
according to, but also looking at that, by that time, I'm not a judge and I'm just speaking my opinion as a man. If I got married to you, Judy, and I see things are not working out, for the peace, I get my Joanne. We even reach an extent of having twins, and I'm not hiding it. It is known to you.
Robert, now the second
Robert, we
witness
are
account is
not
over.
saying that
Anyways,
the
we
man
might as
had
well-
issues with the woman. It's not that she had.
We don't
But the mother
that.
said-
Yes, exactly.
That's the mother.
But they were still together.
In this
They
case,
were
by
still
the way, in
together.
this case, parents are out of the picture. They are an extended
But
family.
also one of the friends made a statement that the woman knows very well this new structure they are constructing.
Right.
If these are not buried there, the family will come and steal.
There's that too, but there are two
You
witness
know, that's
accounts.
quite absurd.
That is of
And
the
then
wife
there's
and
so
the
many-
best friend.
and there's
so
so
I think
many
for me, this
issues to
appeals
look
to
into.
extended family. For as long as it's a couple, mother, parents, you're out of the picture. That's just the fact. However painful it might be, it is the truth. These people have started their own family. Let them be these things and none of your business. If they include you, well and good, they choose to.
And let
if they
people-
don't, let people be there creating their own families. Move mu bufumbo bw'abantu, because you already dealt with your own issues.
I saw some-
In all honesty, that's what it is. But away from that, and in the interest of time, let's look at what we have in the daily's local scene as well as foreign scene, and therefore the show goes on.
Well, we begin with the government of Uganda is planning to degazette about 500 acres of Novem Forest Reserve in Wakiso district to pave way for the establishment of an industrial park. This move follows the directive by President to the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Anabanja, to discuss possibilities with the relevant authorities to actualize the plan. Nove Central Forest Reserve, located in Kakiri, Wakiso district, measures about 2.3 square miles of land. The idea to establish an industrial park in the area was mooted by former Vice President of Uganda, Professor Gilbert Bukenya, to the President as part of a wider government plan to industrialize the country. Professor Bukenya, together with Ian Cheyune, the Wakiso LC5 district chairperson-elect, told the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja that this should be an important thing, and the discussions with relevant authorities to ensure that this plan is actualized should commence. However, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Water and Environment, Dr. Alfred Okot Odkidi, said the land is currently having legal challenges with the titles which were issued by Wakiso district authorities in 2018. Okot insists that for this to be achieved, government will have to follow all the legal procedures to give it a degazette, to which Professor Gilbert Bukenya sees it as a bureaucracy to delay the project. In another development, government is also set to degazette Gunda Forest Reserve in Katabi along Entebbe Road to establish a national demonstration technology center to skill up the youth. According to the Prime Minister, the President has directed her to buy more land to expand Namave Industrial Park and allocate land to one of the biggest Chinese investor who is planning to establish 300 factories there. A total of 12 teachers from different parts of the country were recognized for their exceptional performance and commitment to the teaching profession under the Teachers Making a Difference initiative. The First Lady presided over the ceremony held at State House in Entebbe. The minister noted that recognizing outstanding teachers promotes innovation and strengthens their commitment beyond normal professional duties. She commended the support from the Embassy of Ireland in Uganda, which includes facilitating exposure trips to Ireland for the winning teachers. Stakeholders noted that celebrating teachers motivates the entire education sector, which partners committing more investment towards this initiative. The initiative also supports beneficiary schools with scholastic materials to enhance learning. The Teachers Making a Difference initiative by the Vision Group was with support from the Government of Ireland, recognizing exceptional classroom performance through rewards, scholastic materials, and an education trip to Ireland. KCCA officials led by the Deputy Executive Director Benon Kigenyi have appeared before or did appear before the COSASE committee to respond to queries arising from the Auditor General's report for the financial year ending 2025. Legislators questioned the authority's action, noting the contradictions of evicting traders from the streets and then demolishing structures in areas where they seek refugees. A case in question recently affected section of Owino Market. The committee members also demanded explanations regarding reports of loss of lives during the demolition, as well as concerns that nearby Nachivobulu Primary School could be under threat. In response, the Deputy Executive Director of KCCA presented findings from the technical investigation commissioned by the Executive Director. The report indicates that 2 store structures within Owino Market were demolished by Hakem Enterprises Uganda Limited without authorization, he explained. Despite this, the committee members found both reports and Kigenyi's response unsatisfactory. With the COSASE chairperson Medad Lubega Segona directed KCCA officials to return with the land titles and additional documents to prove their claims of ownership, among other requirements. And finally, from the local scene, government has embarked on the establishment of Service Uganda Regional Center aimed at bringing public services closer to citizens and improving efficiency across government institutions. The initiative is part of a broader citizen-centric service reform designed to ease access to critical government services, reduce congestion in central offices, and cut the cost of doing business. The move to establish regional Service Uganda centers was driven by the need to improve efficiency and effectiveness of service delivery to critical government entities. Each center will host multiple government institutions, allowing citizens to access services like pension inquiries, payroll management, national identification processing under one roof. The project will utilize existing government infrastructure, particularly Posta Uganda buildings, which are being renovated and equipped with modern ICT systems. NITA-U, with support from the World Bank, is currently rehabilitating some facilities, while services will remain paid as per existing government structures. Officials said the major benefit will be improved accessibility and convenience. And with that, we come to the end of our local stories. Let's see what Joanne has for us on the international scene.
Swiftly moving on to the global coverage, Donald Trump says the U.S. knew nothing about Israel's attack on the South Pars gas field in Iran. The U.S. president is warning Iran against further retaliation after it attacked Qatar's LNG gas facility at Ras Al-Lafan, causing extensive damage. According to the country's state-owned petroleum company, Ras Al-Lafan was among the sites that Iran warned it would target after its South Pars gas field facilities were hit by Israeli strikes. Iran's South Pars is part of the world's largest natural gas field, with both Qatar and Iran operating facilities in the area. Israel is yet to comment. 3 women, however, in the occupied West Bank were killed after shrapnel from an intercepted missile reportedly fell on a beauty salon. Retaliatory strikes by Iran and its allied military groups continue across the Middle East, with blasts and drone interceptions reported in Dubai, Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia. Iran's intelligence minister Ismail Khatib was killed in a strike, the country's president confirms. Forging ahead, the United States Department of State has added a dozen countries to a list that requires visa applicants to post bonds of as much as $15,000 for entry into the U.S. Yesterday's list expansion is the latest move under President Donald Trump to restrict immigration into the U.S. from largely non-Western nations. The 12 additional countries bring the total number of nations subject to the restrictions to 50. Most of them are African nations, and critics argue that the high bonds discriminate against low-income travelers. But the Trump administration has defended the policy as a means of reducing visa overstays. The visa bond program has already proven effective at drastically reducing the number of visa recipients who overstay their visas and illegally remain in the United States, the State Department wrote in a news release yesterday. It explained that an estimated 1,000 visas have been issued under the bond program and that 97% of the recipients left the U.S. within the time frame of their visa. And with the fate of Senegal when it comes to football, the Senegalese government has called for an independent international investigation into suspected corruption at African football's governing body after it stripped Senegal of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations title and awarded it to Morocco. Senegal beat Morocco 1-0 in January's final, but the Confederation of African Football, that is CAF, overturned the result on Tuesday because Senegal's players walked off the pitch in protest when hosts Morocco were awarded a stoppage time penalty. The players returned after a 17-minute delay, and Brahim Diaz's Panenka penalty for Morocco was saved before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored an extra time winner. Following an appeal by the Moroccan FA, CAF ruled that Senegal had forfeited the match, with the result being recorded as 3-0 in favor of Morocco. In a statement, the Senegalese government said the unprecedented and exceptionally serious decision was based on a manifestly erroneous interpretation of the regulations, leading to a grossly illegal and deeply unjust decision. It said, Senegal unequivocally rejects this unjustified attempt at dispossession. And that brings us to the end of our international coverage this morning.
All right, thank you very much, Joanne. Now a quick look at what the dailies have this morning. We start with the New Vision. Best Teachers Awarded, First Lady sponsors more teachers to travel to Ireland. Okay. And no money for LC1, LC2 elections.
They said they were about to carry out the election.
Anyways, Matembe commends Museveni on women empowerment. This was during the launch of a book by Alaso there that was at Protea Hotel. And 12th April 2026 will be the Kabaka run, birthday run. Have you got your kit already? Looking at the Daily Monitor there. The story, of course, CAF chose rule book over referee's final whistle. The death of a final whistle in awarding Morocco the AFCON 2025 title at the expense of Senegal. That in there. And of course, government orders all taxis off city roads, but also Japan to fund Kampala flyover phase 2. And by the way, cutoff points for universities have been risen, but also in there it's the pain of accessing eye care services. All of that, Daily Monitor and the New Vision. Now, quick look at what Tanzania has with the Citizen. Well, looking at the Citizen's headline there is Samia pledges system overhaul. And that's the headline. But also, fresh move to curb smuggling of cooking oil. And early signs of cerebral palsy often go unnoticed. Experts warn. Also in their land disputes, Bunge team calls for varsity expertise. And the Daily Nation, representing Kenya, headline there is Courting Trouble. That's the headline. And of course, we're looking at Ruto, Gachagua, and all other politicians who are in a battle for who takes the seat. But also matters property, buyer of auction to property linked to Starbucks. And matters health, TSC warns 1.4 billion shillings gap in medical cover hurts tutors. And triumphant police officers back from Haiti. All of that from the dailies this morning. Now it's that time, it's exactly 7 a.m. Let's take a short break. And when we get back, we are looking at the floods. Yesterday was a whole different story. Let's chew on it. 0709-602592. And by chewing on it, it's Robert, myself, and Joanne alongside you, our dear viewers. Let's have a short break. We'll be right back. Good morning. 8th, which is next month. Just a few days away. And the move aims to protect passengers and reduce the rising number of road accidents linked to unsafe vehicles. Now, from the start of, I think, shortly after elections, about 2 weeks after elections, it looks like a whole cleanup is taking shape in Uganda. Well, my name is Julie F. Nantaba, welcoming you to the show this Thursday morning. And it's a whole beautiful team that works hard to make sure that we start the morning with you, an honor and privilege we don't take for granted. Away from behind the scenes, I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono and Joanne Murunji. Joanne, good morning.
Good morning, Julie, and a very good morning to you, our viewers. We hope you are sipping on your Ugandan coffee because it is in our nature, but make sure you are warm because we're still having drizzles, as Julie said. To our brothers at the Muslim community, we've been reliably informed that Eid will be celebrated tomorrow, and that is Eid I hope I'm mentioning it the right way since we have no Muslim here on set. Eid El Fitr. Oh, Shafiq must be laughing here. I was like, no, look at you. But anyways, yes, the crescent moon was not spotted yesterday, so most likely we are having Eid celebrations
this is a good
tomorrow.
one, I think.
It is.
It starts the weekend with no work for most. Of course, for us it will be work, but for most, no work into Saturday, into Sunday. Just an extra day of no work.
Yeah,
for those
and please,
who are able to.
Make sure you do not use some languages we are not understanding. Please, our Muslim brothers, things of using Arabic. When you know Jojo does not understand Arabic, just tell me the venue and the time. Because, you know, Easter is around the corner. We shall also decide to use Latin or Greek and you'll be left out. Anyway, that is on a lighter note. But I hope you enjoyed the music from the Throwback Thursday as we take you back a memory lane to remember, to reminisce on how the old golden days were. But in Kampala, Uganda, the CBD specifically. Now, last week there was an evening downpour, and it was on Friday, and we saw a number of shops being submerged in water and a lot of roads that were flooded. And there was transport disruption, as always, whenever there are floods in Kampala, and a lot of traffic congestion. Yesterday, the same thing happened. And today, you know, whenever it rains at night or in the early morning hours, traders are always worried. What am I going to expect? What they're expecting at their shops. And when it rains during day, they're always putting up the merchandise away from their shops. And one would question, why don't these traders shift and access other shops? Mind, it's not easy here in Kampala to shift one shop from another because one, your clientele knows where you are located. And for most landlords, they ask for 4 to 6 months. Others are, yeah. So it's a bit abroad when it comes to floods. But I think the Kampala Capital City Authority traders are demanding for answers. How long is it going to be? Kwaliso Tower, Kwaliso Building, Nabukera, and the water that comes from Upper Sheraton, it's really absurd. But regardless, we are here to take you through the morning. Good morning.
Definitely. So thank you very much, Joan, for that preamble. But we definitely need to hear from the only man on set, Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Good morning.
A lovely morning to you, Julie. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I am very fine. And for her, I won't ask. I know she's fine. But our viewer, how are you? Good morning to
You're
you.
going to make people think I
Hope
talk to you
you're
every morning.
fine. Of course,
How do you know that I'm fine?
because we talked already.
Oh,
Now,
you win.
very interesting but sad story that I have this morning.
Okay.
We first witnessed this in 2001 when Miss Nis Bitarabeho, the widow then to Bob Kasango, if you remember that prominent lawyer who died in Rosetta prison, developed
Talk about.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV this morning. And we pray and hope that you are safe wherever you are and starting your day from. Now, yesterday, whilst we were here on the show, the rain surprised us. It just gushed all of a sudden. And it continued on and on and on, grew heavier and heavier and heavier. And whilst we were here on the streets of Kampala, it was rather dire. It was flooding. And not only on the streets of Kampala, but even nearby areas that surround Kampala. So this morning, let's chew on the persistent floods that affect Kampala, the CBD, but also areas surrounding Kampala. Let's chew on this particular issue. Why it happens, why it's persistent. Is it largely a human activity or it's nature taking its course? Which is which? And over the years, as we've seen it happen or even grow worse, what are we doing? What are we not doing? 0709 602 592 is the WhatsApp number for you to engage by. And from your engagement, we want to get your opinion. What permanent measures can be taken to effectively mitigate flooding in Kampala? In your opinion, do share what you think the permanent measures could be. The conversation is also on X at UBCTV Uganda, the hashtag UBCGMU, and of course away from X, 0709 602 592. If you're not watching us by your TV set, we are live on YouTube as well, so you can watch us mobile from wherever you are and are able to access the internet. Once again, good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Julie F. Nantaba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono and Joan Murunji. Let's start, friends. Why do you think it happens so quickly whenever it rains in Kampala? I'll pick both of your perspectives because at the end of the day, we all experience these floods in some form or shape. And I'll start with you, Robert. Why do you think in Kampala, whenever it drops, the flooding happens so quickly? It's instant, it's immense.
Now, for you call them floods, but some call it temporary stagnation of water. Because they believe after 4-5 hours the water is normal.
Okay.
So it is temporary stagnation of water in these areas. However, there are a number of factors that result to it. First is poor planning of settlements in Kampala. And I may add Kampala Metropolitan, because we've built, you see, the Baganda have a saying, I hope I pronounced it right. Now, that water will always go back to its initial places, the channels it used to go through.
Right.
Now, when you go to Bunga, Munyonyo, places that were wetlands, when you go to some parts of this city that were wetlands and you construct, even if you've put maram or applied whatever technology, water will not forget that this was once our path. It will still come, and when it reaches a time and it weakens those blockades that you put in place, believe you me, it will penetrate. Now, poor construction, unplanned structures. What do I mean by unplanned structures? You wake up one day, for you choose to put something there, you wake up one day. But also, look at these waterways being blocked. When these Joans of this world, you find her in her expensive car, but after drinking, she throws the plastic bottle.
Wait, be specific. Which type of drinking?
Mineral water.
Okay, thank you.
After drinking water, these juices.
Processed juices.
The
packed ones.
She takes so much of Kaziri. Now, after taking that, she just throws and throws anywhere. I'm just using her as a case point viewer. Not that that's what she does. Now, this block, coupled with some people, when it rains, that is when they are able to release their fecal material. So there's so much dumping and poor garbage management that ends up in these water paths.
Right.
At the end of the day, we get to that. But also, we won't forget that another factor, from poor or unplanned structures, blocking water channels, we also have a problem of not being able, as KCCA, because you're talking about Kampala, not being able as KCCA to remove this garbage from the people, because some may not want to do that, but they end up with no alternative. That if this garbage, it was easy for them to discard it, because no one wants garbage. That's why, Judy, you eat something here at UBC, but at home you have a trash can, but in your car you still don't want that garbage. Now, the cost of removing garbage from the poor and less privileged is so high that many have no alternative. Because there's someone doing something like the example I gave of Joan, dumping, but when they can deposit that and dispose it off properly.
Right.
But here, even those that would have wanted, some of them have no proper means. And lastly, underfunding of KCCA. The outgoing Lord Mayor, Elias Lukwago, also mentioned that the funds needed by Kampala Capital City Authority to do some of these things that would have reduced this is they don't have the money. Now, lastly, ignorance of those that know. And I say this deliberately, ignorance of those that know. Now, Judy, when you look at Kampala, do you know how many people are removing plant cover to put pavers?
Right.
I've visited many of the high-ended families. ED, I don't know how many invitations I have already. So I will go to none. But one thing you find in their compounds, I don't know, Ugandans, there's something we copy. Now, when I was growing up, a person who had this green grass was slashed. it looked very good. Today, because it would retain water. Today, everybody who gets money is having pavers. Pavers don't retain water. They will let the water go. Today, everyone who gets money wants to sleep on top of a hill to have a view. You know what they do? They remove the entire cover. Go to these hills of Kampala, Maya, where you find the entire cover was removed for an ignorant yet knowing person, because by the time you find this is a professor, a lecturer, a journalist, a doctor, an engineer, people went to school. Because the poor can hardly construct on those hills what it takes. But these are people who are again removing the entire and cutting everything to have their houses there. Then he says, Robert, when I'm at my place, I have the city view. Look at you.
Very interesting way of mimicking the elite. John, in your perspective, why do you think this happened so quickly?
One, I remember in when KCCA was established in 2011,
right,
the body has tried to set up drainage systems that can mitigate floods. However, the problem still persists. We cannot say they failed at all. They've tried. They are trying.
What is trying? Look at the situation.
Because there are some drainage systems that have been put in place. It's not that they are not there, but the issue is that the ones that are there cannot really...
The box culverts that they are putting.
Yeah, they cannot handle the heavy downfalls at times. Because you cannot, unless it has rained, that is when you can gauge the amount of rainfall. You cannot predict. Even with the meteorologists, they just say this is the weather forecast. It's not the accurate one. So for the culverts...
They will tell you that you are having above normal, you know, they'll tell that what is coming. We
are likely to, and at times it doesn't happen or it happens. So the drainages are there, but they might be smaller than what these heavy downfalls can, or heavy powers can really sustain. And also the climate change and weather change. Even in East Africa, we've seen floods in Kenya, in Nairobi. So some of the things that we do play when it comes to rainfall events in East Africa, they further stress the already systems and fragile components that can help in mitigating these floods. Because for climate, it's something that KCCA cannot control.
I want to disagree with you, John, if Julie, you give me the permission to.
All right, please go ahead.
Now, when you talk about climate change, climate change is something we've known for the last 2 decades.
Okay.
That has taken course. And when we talk about these floods that we see when it rains or temporary stagnation of water, it can still happen, like it happens in a number of cities, but planned, and we don't have this. So I don't want to exonerate people that because of climate change.
Yeah, climate causes intense rainfall. We cannot refrain from saying that we cannot just...
Let me tell you, in Dar es Salaam it does rain. In Ghana, Accra, it does rain. But why don't they, and the rain powers we get here in Uganda or in Kampala, Joan, we can't, it is not a whole day, because when we talk about those floods that we are talking about that come to Nairobi, it rains about a week consecutive days.
That's true, but we are talking about why are there persistent floods. We are not talking about why can't KCCA do this. I'm still talking about why are they still persistent, and we shall get to that bit of how can they tackle this. Because in 2018, I think the engineer Andrew Kitaka, by then, who was the person there at KCCA, Director of Engineering and Technical Services, said that there was a study that had been started for the KCCA to see how it can provide valuable information and systems, and also recommendations and what they can put in place so that they curb these floods. I don't know if it started the implementation, how far, because there is a lot that comes with these drainages. From the contractor, was the person contracted on merit? If so, what kind of quality materials are they using? And for what period? And with it, because at times, maybe in Uganda, what we do is after we've given a contract to someone, we'll wait for the finished work. Do we supervise the the kind of materials they are using, or we just let them do because we contracted them and we are waiting for them to give us the final product?
Right.
And another thing that I'll be on the same page with you is as human beings to be blamed. You talked about the litter. That is obvious. You know, over the weekend, on Sunday, there was a mounted roadblock around Nakati St. Lawrence Horizon, Masaka Road. So I was coming from Barra, and there was a bus that had been stopped by the traffic officers there. So someone threw out a pamper, and it almost hit the traffic officer. So the traffic officer, quite upset but laughable, but the traffic officer tried to intercept the bus driver just drove. But you can imagine if someone shamelessly can throw out a pamper with all that human waste into the road, and there is a drainage system that is around there. So what about in city whereby the population is...
Anyways, in Lukwago's voice, Mujoga. Anyways, we are looking at the persistent floods in Kampala. And in your opinion, what permanent measures can be taken effectively to mitigate flooding in Kampala? Be part of the conversation. 0709602592. Onto our X handle. The hashtag is UBCGMU at UBCTV Uganda. Amon Junior Rukundo says, first step, let KCCA spokes and KCCAUG see garbage as an asset, not a problem. Collecting garbage must be free of charge to enable the peasant have the courage of keeping it waiting for the collectors. Don't take long, miners, collecting this garbage, please.
But they also get overwhelmed with the amount of garbage there is to collect.
Interesting. But on to some of the comments that are coming through. Hi, JJR. Thank you for the show. This is teacher Igalagwa Edward from Buyende District. The only solution for floods is that people should vacate wetlands, and strong penalties should be undertaken to those who don't follow the government rules on wetlands. Hi, I'm Yusuf from Kampala. Thanks for the program, but please inform the public that tomorrow is a public holiday.
Has the government...
Yusuf, thank you.
Is that why you're talking about the floods? Yusuf.
Where is KCCA in all of this? Where is the government in all of this? How do the officials feel whenever they see people suffering this much? Is it the landlords responsible to solve this, or the government? Who should be put to blame? I think Afina here, the author of this message, actually raises something rather profound, and I'll pose it to you, Robert. And I love that, you know, the different vantage of perspectives you both had on who should be blamed. So let me hear from you, Robert. Who should take the responsibility mostly? Is it the government? Is it the city authorities? Or is it the citizens? Who takes the lion's share in being the blame point?
First, we begin with government. Where am I saying government?
Okay.
Regulations.
Okay.
That is government. Enforcement. That is government. Then construction of clear water pathways. That is government. So it takes the biggest blame. Then I will go to us, the people. Because human activities that we do, are you aware that people construct on weekends, construct houses at night, where they know KC officials will not be there? This is how we have some of these unplanned structures come up, blocking water channels. So it then, lastly, you who is not constructing but you're a tenant, because one asked if the landlord should be blamed, your habits, your management and disposal of garbage. Because why I call this permanent temporary stagnation, that when it rains and KCCS sends its team, and there's something that really bothers me. These people work so hard, yet they're the lowest paid in the structures of KCCA. Almost those ladies, you see those people that go in those drainage channels, and they're removing those bottles, the silting and all that. Once it's done, the water finds its ways. I passed through Bunga yesterday. You could hardly pass through some areas. You needed maybe a boat like a small something like that. But when you go there today, that place yesterday was like that. But are you aware that after 2 hours, when the rain has stopped, you won't find that water there?
Right.
So what does that mean? That water has finally either sunk in the ground or slowly gone through those small channels that you blocked with your mineral water, with your beer bottles, with your sanitary towels, with your pampers. Then there is so much that you do. That Entebbe Road Namasuba thing, it's more or less a wetland. And there is a church, unfortunately, that is my church, where I go to pray. It's always
at the center.
And sometimes when it rains, I'm like,
no prayers.
Not going there.
Anyways, getting into some of those comments, I'll start with you receiving your flowers. And perhaps if you could remember what you've shared, you would re-air it. Someone here says, Kayongo Mutumba says that the gentleman in studio has nailed it. Please let him repeat his points. Allow him repeat his points. Mankind is the biggest problem. Mankind's biggest problem is ignorance. This is Mutumba Kayongo, who hails you for the points.
Thank you, Mutumba.
You have shared. The government should be blamed for not funding so that trenches are built. Good morning. And someone else comes through and says, good morning, my friends. Namara, thank you. Good morning to you too. And be part of the conversation. We're looking at the issue of persistent floods in Kampala, and in your opinion, what permanent measures can be taken to effectively mitigate flooding in Kampala? Do share your opinions on our X handle at UBCTV Uganda. The hashtag there is UBCGMU. You can also share via 0709602592. I'll start with you, Joanne. In your opinion, what permanent solutions do you think can effectively be tabled and implemented to mitigate flooding?
Of course, there are quite many. They all rise from the causes. If we do away with corruption, you know, Robert, I heard you and also some viewers there saying the government is to be blamed. But who is in the government? It is us, the people. So I think we should hold individual people accountable, not the government as a whole, because the president is not going to come from State House or from wherever he is, and he's rather he is the one supposed to make sure all these are effected, because he works with the people in the cabinet, state ministers. They're not supposed to make sure that. So when you say government, most people think it is the president. So it is from the individual basis. You who is working for KCCA, you who is on planning, you the individual person on ground, a local citizen. What are you doing to make sure that you avoid seeing floods in Kampala? So when the corruption is also available, or it is rampant. I saw the IGG recently held over, I think 50 government officials that are going to be accountable for corruption.
In fact, 200.
200. So now it is now 200. Not 50, it's now 200. So if we are corrupt-free when trying to make these drainage systems, I think Kampala, the CBD area mainly, will see light at the end of the tunnel. And also, let's do away with grid. You know, some of the developers just decide to blindly or to forcefully and also intentionally just decide to do some things even when their technocrats have warned them that this might result into this. But because they have greed for money, greed for income, and greed for power and influence, that is what we are going to keep on saying. And also, if we can look at refraining from selective environment policy enforcement, because some laws apply to some people and others do not apply to them. So if we go away, we do away with that selectiveness when it comes to building plans, accepting building plans, supervisions, we can try to help Kampala. And also, maybe we can, not even maybe, but the critical one is the technical bit of it. What can we have the relevant people employed in the planning department? Right. Let us not have let us not have a bureaucracy when people are applying for jobs, or impunity, or even at times. By the way, last week I hosted here an engineer, And some of the things she talked about is male chauvinism. There are ladies there who are good at engineering in some of these things, but because they are ladies, they are sidelined for the men, of which some of these men might not be of good merit or end up engaging in stuff that is not good for the drainage system in Kampala.
Thank you, John. And before I close into you, Robert, Stella here says from Boyogere that there is need to construct more bridges. Construct, I think it's what you meant. Construct more bridges to allow water flow. Thank you, Stella, for being on the show and watching from Boyogere. A road that usually suffers, you know, the Chambogo route, Chireka, Chambogo,
Ginger Road, and being it a highway, a major highway at that, for just one heavy downfall, and it's so submerged. It's a bit disheartening.
Robert, in your opinion, what permanent measures can be taken effectively?
I look at it in three aspects. First, we need serious laws and enforcement. People being brought to book and held accountable. If you're found dumping, we should have a team that will follow and see you through, so that we deter others. If you construct in a wrong place, I remember government sometime back last year, I think NEMA was active demolishing houses. When they reached somewhere, they didn't continue with the exercise.
Why? Why didn't they continue?
I don't know.
Was it an order? Was it an order?
It died out, but you see.
It died out randomly, by the way.
Yes, you see.
Was it an order, or that is why they had planned to end
when they had to say, getting the side of Bunga Gaba there, I waited to see.
We shall get back to you.
Things, but when they were here in the Montua,
they were very...
So,
all right.
We should seriously implement these laws without fear of favor or any selective or mercy. And also, KCC, I repeat, funding must improve. Intentional funding to end these floods must improve. Government, parliament, because government, we have the executive, we have the legislature and the judiciary.
The legislature, yes, but funding, if it is not properly implemented, still it does not do any good.
But at least, if they tell you, Joanne, that what they don't even get half of what they need.
Okay, yeah.
You know, half of what they need. Yes, so
with cases,
funding must be improved. And finally, and also, Ugandans, we must have knowledge and information and love for our city, for our country.
So there should be awareness.
Awareness. You who goes and gets maram and cover that swamp. You who goes and stays on that hilltop. You clear and you see water running to the poor, because you have a four-wheel drive and you know you will pass through. One day you won't have that four-wheel drive.
But do you think
one day that hill, because of the menace you've created here, you won't be able to access your home.
That some of these agencies actually understand the role of media in sensitizing these masses, because people do listen to radio, they do watch TV, but you find that an official from KCCA will just come for 1 hour, 40 minutes, and they feel the sensitization has been done.
John, you said
pay money to UBC.
I love that you said that.
Because, you know, for Uganda, not only Ugandans, but for masses, the more the message rings in their ears, they get attached to it and they do take action. But you cannot come for just one day in a week or in 3 months, and you think
once a year when the floods are rising.
And
please,
finally,
government
and
agencies,
lastly,
make sure you have the budget for media.
I want to urge Ugandans, let's reduce our appetite for producing.
What are you saying, sir?
This growth of our population, and more so the unplanned population, because I believe in children by choice, not by chance. Let me tell you, there is a way you may not have moved. When you go to Chikaramoja, have you ever reached that place? When you go to Chisenyi, these poor people are giving birth. Almost every woman is pregnant there. They don't have shelter.
So they bring pressure to some of these areas.
And Kampala is not going to expand. And they can't afford plots. When they can't afford, they go for those in Intobazi. You know, brokers are clever.
Yeah, 3 million, 4 million, we give you 50 by 100.
There's even 1.5 land. Then
and you can even pay in installments.
Now you find these people
really
are the ones going into these areas.
All right.
Your appetite of children must reduce.
No, let them give birth to those they can.
Anyways, they say that when you have nothing much to do, all that's left for you is to eat and enjoy conjugal rights. But anyways, in your opinion, what permanent measures can be taken to effectively mitigate flooding in Kampala? Share your opinion onto our X handle at UBC TV. The opinion poll is on there. Share your opinion as well, but also send through 0709602592. Somebody on X called Deogracious says that except the rainfall intensity, everything should be the reverse. Interesting. The rain, nature can't be controlled, from what I'm interpreting it as. But every other thing might as well change course in aligning to where it's supposed to be. For the rain, you have nothing.
But you see, Julie, when you look at Bwaise, it is slightly above the drainage, but it is an area that is also prone to floods.
Because
so even when the drainage is a bit
swampy, you see, when you go to Bwaise, you know springs and Suro.
Yeah. Okay.
No, when you go to those places that have water coming in, Bwaise is more or less a swampy or swampy.
But it's slightly above the drainage.
Yes, but still, the water table.
Yeah. Those are the weather and the climate conditions.
Not
that
even
I was
climate. It is nature there. Because if you're to dig, you know, these wells that people dig today, you're looking for water, have a site, and in Bwaise, you don't have to go 100 feet.
Oh.
The water table is so near. So, and what does that speak? When the water table is so near, it means there's more of a swampy. So it's the place itself is more or less of a swamp.
The geography of
so however small water that comes in, and the retention of water in that clay-like, you know, it keeps so much of water. Like, compared to Rome soils, where for the Rome soils the water will go, but this clay kind of,
it doesn't absorb water.
So that's the problem with water.
Reading some of the comments coming through, this is Stella. Stella, I read your message already. And having a clean environment starts with you Ugandans. Patriotism is key. I love this. This is from Engineer Conrad, who is watching us from Nairobi, City 254. Thank you so much, Engineer Conrad, for getting in touch. And someone else says, thank you, Team UBC, for the presentation. Bahitia Rogers from Ibanda Chanya Town Council, Kasese District. The biggest problem is failure of the KCCA team to supervise the activities done in the city. Strengthen the policies of garbage collection and disposal. Serious implementation of the policies and avoid corruption that makes them take money from those who build in the Nyala. And thank you for updating.
Now you see that one from Kasese. Why I told you and climate change should not be an excuse. They used to have the backs of River Nyamwamba burst, and a menace would be created there. But government went in. Still it rains and have those challenges. But now they constructed these banks. They injected money there. That even if it rains, now it would be very hard for the river. But climate change. So when we plan properly, you mitigate the impacts of climate change.
Interesting. I think you meant to say they always. This is an author. I haven't left your name. Or anyways, you say that they always say what water is life, when not in Bwaise. But it is too much, although government for Ugandans, by Ugandans, but people in it are already corrupting funds. And also the massive destruction of swamps for settlement. Look at where Ham built. So people will hold businesses in those buildings are likely to face flooding automatically because environment has been defied by people, so it is revenging. And Richard from Tororo, you said, let the government award the contract of building the drainage to UPDF. We have been always told they have the best engineers, apart from being corrupt free. This is Richard from, is there a place called Totoro? This is Richard from Totoro, but I think
Tororo.
you meant to say Tororo. But then Dennis comes through from Banda and says, to me, politics should stop and Kampala be worked on as a capital city, according to the law. Dennis from Banda. Thank you very much, Dennis. This conversation has to come to its close. But,
but Julie, where is the Ministry of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees in Uganda? We are just castigating the KCCA, but these people are also supposed to issue flood alerts, though they do.
No, the Meteorology Department did issue.
I said Ministry of Relief.
No, you see, the Office of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness, these people, when they get this information, they have a trickle-down factor, and it gets to the people. And also when it comes to disasters, they usually respond to those big calamities.
But they can issue alerts.
The alerts are always there.
In Kampala?
In Kampala. When you
I think for these rains, even last year's heavy rains,
they
always communicate.
Meteorological Center always releases
the question is, do we take appropriate action to the science when it speaks?
Flooding in Kampala is no longer just a rainy season problem. It's now affecting businesses, transport, and even health. From what I see, the biggest causes are blocked drainage due to garbage, building in wetlands, poor drainage systems. I believe the long-term solution is not just one thing. It's a sad combination of modern underground drainage. It's a combination of modern underground drainage, wetland protection, proper waste management, and strict urban planning plus community discipline. All together must work, not one alone. This is Monica Ayugi from Naguru. Thank you so much. Well, our time is fast spent. I can see the comments are flooding through, but unfortunately, we have to bring it here. And in my opinion, two factors stand out. Number one, individual character.
Okay.
From you littering, it just speaks of who you are. You government official who's supposed to release funds and then you divert them, it speaks of who you are. You who does not do what you're supposed to do from us as individuals. If you litter a diaper, anyhow, what does that say?
Toilet,
yeah, you know. So for me, the cause, one of the things that should be dealt with, it should be individual character. You as an individual, one like this, what are you doing to actually be part of the big cause? But also corruption is also such a big issue that is affecting every point of implementation into development for the country. So for corruption, whoever is implementing the policies of anti-corruption, how are they implemented?
And
are they
selective
beautifully
policies.
written laws, or they're actually implemented and we are seeing people brought to book?
And fairly known to just a few individuals.
John is coming back with the business news.
Absolutely.
Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza, Commissioner.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight? Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
The US dollar against the Ugandan shilling keeps on appreciating and, of course, changing in currency units. As we speak of late, a bag of sugar that previously has been going for 115,000 has skyrocketed to over 160,000 to 170,000. I think you need to stock on some of these things before it even gets so late, because what we are trying to anticipate and speculate in the coming weeks with the US-Israeli-Iran war going on, it might be not good for most of us who are low-income earners. But it is time for the economic intelligence, and swiftly moving on, starting with the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Anabanja, who received a group of South Korean investors who are interested in establishing an industrial green zone in the Karamoja sub-region. The meeting took place at her office in Kampala and was attended by Ministers Peter Lokas, Florence Nambozo for Karamoja Affairs, and David Bahati, State Minister for Trade. The Premier welcomed her guests to Uganda and assured the total support towards all their plans of investing in Karamoja. Let's take a quick look at this report.
Our vision is to establish the Green Industrial Special Economic Zone and 1 gigawatt solar power plant in the Karamoja region in partnership with the Data Center Group and the government of Uganda. We aim to build a robust green industrial ecosystem that seamlessly integrates Uganda's rich natural resource with South Korea's cutting-edge technology.
I also want to welcome your interest in the proposed green industrial and special economic zone in Karamoja. This flagship project under the Karamoja Sub-Regional Development Plan aims to promote industrialization, sustainable economic growth, and strategic investment in Karamoja.
That we are enjoying this peace. Without peace and security, we would not have investors coming in the nation, and the region of Karamoja is taking advantage of this peace. Furthermore, the region is richly endowed with valuable minerals such as gold, marble, limestone, which present opportunities for responsible extraction, processing, and export.
The survey has been finished. It has shown different sites of the availability of different minerals. Uranium has been already confirmed in areas of Kitugu and Karamoja. We are seeing some pockets where we can get oil itself. So one time, that area where you are going, and especially the southern part, the area between, they call it Moroto Kadam Valley. That one, in the south, there is oil. And then gold is being crushed everywhere.
I want to inform you, Uganda is one of the most peaceful countries in Africa. Uganda is strategically positioned by God. Then Uganda was ranked as the best investment destination by IMF and World Bank.
That was beautiful, done by the Prime Minister, as Uganda needs more investors so that we can grow our GDP. But moving on in our fundraising efforts updates, the Katikkiro of Buganda has rallied support for multi-million-dollar campaign aimed at establishing Uganda's first bone marrow transplant facility, a move expected to transform treatment for patients battling blood-related diseases. At Mengo, the Katikkiro of Buganda, OHT Charles Peter Maiga, applauded the Joint Clinical Research Center, Pearl Bank, and the Rotary Uganda for spearheading a drive to raise $4 million to complete the country's first bone marrow transplant facility. Let's have a look at the report.
The facility being constructed in Lobowa is expected to provide life-saving treatment for patients suffering from sickle cell disease, leukemia, lymphoma, and other blood disorders that often require treatment abroad.
Purposes of the bone marrow transplant, the initiative of Rotary Club and JCRC, and you can rely on our support.
The initiative, led by the Joint Clinical Research Center, aims to position Uganda as a regional hub for specialized health care. Once complete, the facility will be among only 2 in East Africa, alongside 1 in Kenya.
Currently, because we do not have a center here, people who need a bone marrow transplant go abroad, and it costs between 150 to 200 million, the procedure alone. It may be more depending if you get complications. But this excludes costs for tests that you have to do, tests that they have to do on the donor. It excludes the accommodation, because some of the patients stay 4 to 6 months abroad. And it also excludes the transport. 1 or 2 people may have to go. So cumulatively, you may find you're spending about 500 million.
To support the fundraising drive, Pearl Bank has committed 200 million shillings and will host a dedicated payment platform to allow well-wishers to contribute through mobile money, bank deposits and card payments.
As Pearl Bank, a bank that fosters prosperity for Ugandans, runs along the themes of sustainability, which shows this project as our corporate social investment. We believe it will create a lot of impact for Ugandans. In addition, we are going to support the process of collecting contributions from members of the public and from companies, private sector, organizations. We've set up a link.
Rotary Uganda has also taken a leading role in mobilizing support, with district leaders championing the campaign as part of efforts to expand access to specialized healthcare services.
And this we are doing it jointly as Rotarians with the Joint Clinical Research Center. But the anchor club is Rotary Club of Kampala Springs. And we've launched a link with Postbank, which is now Pearl Bank, to be able to raise funds, however little it is, so that you can be able to contribute towards the setting up a bone marrow transplant center. And we
are speaking to other partners as well, but very importantly, the more Ugandans contribute, the more Ugandans come through, the quicker we shall be able to finalize this project. So we call upon Ugandans. The time frame is largely dependent on the contributions.
Once operational, the Bone Marrow Transplant Center is expected to significantly improve survival rates and offer renewed hope to thousands of Ugandans. Sandra Kahunde, Robert Katamba, News Tonight.
With respect to the transportation industry, Uganda's State Minister for Transport, Fred Byamukama, has issued a firm directive to bus operators and owners across the country setting a deadline for all buses to undergo mandatory inspection and repairs. The inspections will be carried out at the 7 government-designated checkpoints in a move aimed at reducing the rising number of fatal road accidents. Now, Minister Byamukama made the announcement during a meeting with bus owners at the government-run Traffic Assessment Center here in Namamve. Here is the deadline as it was issued.
For years, many lives have been lost in road accidents, largely attributed to indiscipline among drivers, including reckless driving, overtaking, and violation of traffic regulations.
The reduction of road accidents by the public vehicles is a two-way traffic. One, it is a mandate by us as government to put measures which can curtail with them to control these accidents. That's why you see police has the control of speed. When you exceed a given speed, they give you a ticket. Now also the Ministry of Works will come into the component of inspecting your cars to see whether they fit to be on the road.
While driver behavior remains a major concern, the condition of vehicles with many in a sold state, and in some cases, unroadworthy cannot be overlooked. The government says it has invested 109 billion shillings in state-of-the-art equipment and the construction of 7 vehicle inspection centers across the country.
To remind them of the law of mandatory motor vehicle inspection, being that the government procured these facilities from someone, an investor, at a cost of 109 billion. That's a lot of money.
Authorities add that inspection fees will be structured according to the type of vehicle as part of efforts to ensure compliance with the national safety standards. This morning, Uganda's State Minister for Transport, Fred Byamukama, met with the owners of various bus companies to discuss the same issue.
I've started with the buses on the eastern and northern route, and we have given them timelines with this effect from 8th of April up to 8th of June. We expect all the buses on that route should have a sticker that this bus was inspected. We shall adjust it depending on the coming of those buses, and after that we're going to implement. But however, there are other buses from other routes which have been coming here voluntarily to do the inspection. Then number 2, during that period of 8th April to 8th June, we shall even bring others on board. The Massacre, that's the western route, and the others, we shall bring them on board. But we have started with those 2 routes.
However, bus owners also raised their concerns.
Tugeze okwesanga nti ebiseera ebimu mubaawo emmotoka eziba zaafiiridde ku makubo ng'emazeeko ennaku ezisukka 3. Nze ndowooza nti gavumenti wamu ne parliament basobole okuteekawo enteekateeka ennyangu butya emmotoka eyo loole oba trailer ne bw'enaaba bus ng'efunye ekizibu bafune breakdown.
Minister Fred Byamukama also warned the owners of all the taxis and border operators, cautioning that enforcement raids could begin at any time.
March, we don't expect any order taxi around Kampala. We have been talking about this one as Minister of Works, but we keep it silent. There are these taxis you see on the roadside. Even now I saw them as I was coming. The behind door is tied with a rope. The rear door where the passengers enter is tied with a rope. Everything is tied with a rope. To an extent, even the seats inside, they are tied with ropes.
I'm Evanjuko for UBC.
I hope it yields positive results. But before we forge ahead, we did put up a poll question for you on our UBC TV X account or Twitter account, that is at UBC TV Uganda, and it reads, what permanent measures can be taken to effectively mitigate flooding in Kampala? What permanent measures can be taken to effectively mitigate flooding in Kampala? That is a discussion we had earlier on in the show. Feel free to profile your thoughts on that on our X account, as I will read some of your opinions as we end the business segment. But concerning the war impact, The ongoing conflict in the Gulf is already sending shockwaves across the global economy, disrupting key sectors including tourism, aviation, trade, and logistics. While Uganda has not yet felt the full impact, analysts do warn that the situation is likely to deteriorate before any signs of recovery do emerge. Let's have a look at this.
It is now nearly 3 weeks since Israel, backed by the United States of America, launched attacks on Iran, triggering sustained retaliation and escalating tensions in the region. With no clear end in sight, the global economy is increasingly under strain, particularly following Iran's blockade of the strategic Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil transit routes.
Which is controlling about 20 to 25% of the global crude oil. The Iranians have also held the world at ransom. That's why you see globally, we can see a shock. You can see an increase in the fuel prices. When you look at the statistics, they are telling you that prices have been able to rise by over $100 per barrel. Yeah. So that's a serious issue.
When the war broke out, the government of Uganda assured the public of stability and warned oil marketing companies against hoarding of fuel.
Wanting to make obscene profits, you received the products at a certain cost. Why are you hiding it to cause scarcity? We have mandate to cancel you. We can stop dealing with you. We are the only supplier, okay?
However, analysts say the situation on ground is beginning to shift.
We are seeing the oil price or fuel prices going up in our pump stations. Here the government has issued a directive that they are in charge. So will you say the government is in charge?
Yeah, that's a serious question, Dennis. As you might have observed, today when I was coming, when I used the Gayaza Road,
yeah, exactly.
I realized that most of the fuel stations, the price of fuel had already reached around close to 5,300. Initially, before the war, it was about 5,060.
Some of them are actually 48, 60,
yeah, absolutely. So you already notice that actually the fuel, the operators, the operators of fuel pumps have already started to raise the prices of fuel.
Yeah.
Now, what you would expect definitely is an increase in the fuel prices. I know government has come up with assurances that the country needs to be, they need to stay calm.
Yes.
But if this war continues to escalate for some good days, then we are going to face a big challenge in the push of the fuel prices. Definitely.
Costs, the Ugandan shilling is also weakening against the US dollar, raising concerns about inflation and the cost of imports. Prolonged geopolitical instability could significantly disrupt supply chains and strain Uganda's fragile economic recovery. This raises a critical question: can Uganda shield its economy from sustained external shocks of this magnitude?
I think the government must step up efforts to curtail the speculative behavior of businesses. In the medium term, expediting the process of oil and gas production, ensuring that we can have our the storage terminal fully equipped in Mpigi, and then of course in the long term, trying also to build our own capacity, to have more reserves of this oil, and also probably being able to say that we are among the exporters.
Dennis Ikowa for UBC.
Let's now look at the forex rates as of 18th March 2026 from Bank of Uganda. The US dollar there was buying at 3,758.64 and selling at 3,768.64. By midday, the dollar was buying at 3,755.00 and selling at 3,765.00. And by close of business, the dollar was buying at 3,762.91 and selling at 3,772.91. The Great British Pound bull is buying at 5,013.30 and selling at 5,027.78. And the euro is buying at 4,331.01 and selling at 4,342.92. The Kenyan shilling is buying at 28.95 and selling at 29.07. Whereas the Tanzanian shilling is buying at 1.42 and selling at 1.46. And the South African rand is buying at 226.15 and selling at 226.84. And that brings us to the end of our business segment. Coming up is the agenda with Julie. Good morning.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Juko. Yo. What you go? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet.